Welcome to SVG Television News for Wednesday, July 7th. I'm Jimmy Prince with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves has responded to a letter sent to him by Leader of the Opposition, Anne Eustace, last month. In that letter, Eustace questions the Prime Minister on issues relating to the resignation of the former registrar and on the Passport Amendment Bill, which was passed in the House last month. In the 25-page response dated June 30th, Prime Minister Gonsalves indicated that Mr. Eustace continues to make wild and unfounded allegations about official corruption against his government. He added that these claims were unsubstantiated and bogus. The Prime Minister outlined the sections of the law as it pertained to issues relating to corruption, the report from the Director of Audit and the Public Accounts Committee. The Prime Minister stated that he was going at great lengths to explain to the people of the country and for generations to come who will see the truth about all the matters that have been raised. The Prime Minister slams the opposition leader for being reckless with his claims and said it is all being done out of political desperation. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Gonsalves is presently out of state, leading a 5-member delegation on an official visit to Ecuador. The delegation includes his wife Eloise, Minister of Foreign Affairs Camilo Gonsalves, and the Ambassador to Venezuela Andres Wickham. So far, PM Gonsalves has held talks with the President of Ecuador and the senior government officials with responsibility for construction, trade and education. A release from Prime Minister's communication consultant Elson Crick states that among other things, the talks have finalized the plans for engineers from Ecuador to construct 4 two-lane Bailey bridges to replace those bridges in the North Leeward area which were damaged during the 2013 Christmas Eve heavy rainfall. The release further states that the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has undertaken to provide training in the use of English language for teachers from Ecuador, and the work will commence to design a student exchange program between both countries. Prime Minister Gonsalves has been awarded the highest civilian honor of Ecuador, the National Order of Merit, for his outstanding work in building solidarity between Latin America and the Caribbean. Prime Minister Gonsalves and his delegation is expected back in the state on Sunday, July 13th. Well, some sad news now from a host of the opposition New Democratic Party's New Times radio program, Eduardo E.G. Lynch, died earlier today following a period of illness. Leader of the opposition, Anne Eustace, made the formal announcement on radio, stating that Lynch died around 9 a.m. at the Garden of Eden Nursing Home at Dorsetshire Hill at the age of 67. Lynch suffered a number of strokes, including one which occurred on air in 2012, forcing him off the program. Prior to that, an appeal fund was set up to assist him with his medical cost for corrective surgery on his eyes. On radio today, Mr. Eustace praised Lynch for the work done in advancing the policies of the NDP. Eustace said Lynch's work will not go in vain, and that he was a man who commanded a great amount of respect and pride, and that a number of people will miss him now that he's gone. Meanwhile, Vice President of the NDP, Clair Leacock, describes Lynch's passing as a sad and a big blow for his family and that of the NDP.
Lynch served this country faithfully and well. He stood up fearlessly when democracy needed a very strong voice, because he came just around the time when the ULP was at its strongest flow and many people would have been afraid to come forward. But he researched well what he wanted to say, and he expressed himself extremely appropriately on matters political. And I think that he very quickly became the voice of the New Democratic Party. In the process, of course, he would have made enemies with a number of people, but I don't think he had any ill will against those people against whom he expressed himself.
Some police news now. Police are investigating 2 killings which occurred on Saturday night, one on mainland St. Vincent and the other on Beckway. In Kingston Park, Kevin Graves was gunned down at around 10 p.m. He reportedly received multiple gunshot wounds about his body. Meanwhile, on Beckway, Hyacinth Hoyt of Paget Farm reportedly died as a result of a stab wound she sustained at the hands of a relative. Her husband, Mark Hoyt, also sustained injuries in the cutlass attack and is currently hospitalized. The man accused of killing the 65-year-old woman and injuring her husband was reportedly found dead in a burnt-out house. The homicide toll for the year so far now stands at 22. Welcome to Carnival Beat. The Beauty Shows Committee of the Carnival Development Corporation last Friday, July 4th, successfully hosted the 29th staging of the Miss Caraval pageant. And for the second consecutive year, the crown was captured by a Dominican representative. Jamisha Wright has more.
I have 3 more pageants coming soon, so it's back to training, back to diet, back to gym. So it never really stops until you give up your crown, your home crown, so back to work.
Okay, wonderful. And in terms of other persons coming up behind you who would want to participate in the show, what would you have to say to them?
I'd have to tell them that they need a lot of self-motivation, because after my first regional pageant, I got really depressed and really crushed. And it took a lot out of me to get back on my motivation path and to tell myself, you know, you did it once, you can do it again. Don't let one result bring you down. And this is proof, and this is what I try to show my students every day. So I can go back to work and tell them, you see?
Those were the words of the newly crowned Miss Caraval, Francine Barron of Dominica, shortly after securing the coveted title at Carnival City Victoria Park. In taking the title, Barron was adjudged Best Swimwear. Taking the first runner-up position is Miss St. Kitts and Nevis, Kaive Armstrong, who also took the award for Best Interview and Best Talent.
I love the type that has never been seen, and I hope when she bumps you finally see that nobody could love you like me. Whoa, let me know. Oh.
The second runner-up position went to Miss Antigua and Barbuda, Renelle Carroll, who was also adjudged Best Evening Gown.
Which symbolizes the grains of sands that shimmer in the sunlight, giving the illusion of diamonds in the sand.
The other contestants in last Friday's pageant were Miss St. Lucia, Amy Stephen, Miss Barbados, Annie Padmore, Miss Guyana, Kiswana Jafford, Miss Venezuela, Genesis Valera Sejas, Miss Martinique, Alexandra Chastel, Miss Jamaica, Danielle Black, and Miss St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Shadisha George. Reporting for Carnival Beat, I am Jamisha Wright.
Meanwhile, SVG-TV also caught up with Miss Caraval 2013, Leslassa Amor Shenford, who spoke of how pleased she was with all 10 contestants' performance on the night.
The show was a fantastic show. Every girl brought their A game. I could not have been more proud of what the Caribbean had to offer here on the stage at Miss Caraval. Of course, I'm ecstatic that the crowd is coming back to Dominica. All week when we're doing interviews, I've been saying that quite hopefully, but Francine deserved it. She brought her all. She was consistent throughout all the different segments, and I couldn't be more proud of her. It shows what Dominica has to offer. We truly have intelligence, beauty, talent, and so much more.
The Reggae Soca Monarch title this year was captured by Delroy Fireman Hooper with his rum meeting. Fireman wooed the crowd with his performances on Saturday night. Kristin John-Deane tells us more on the results in this report.
When he took the stage at Victoria Park on Saturday night for his performance of Rum Meeting in the Reggae Soca competition, the large crowd went into a frenzy. The second place in the competition went to Wizkid with his song Fetologist. And last year's Reggae Soca Monarch Fire Empress had to settle for the third spot with her song Fire Meets Ice.
We feel it nice, 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 like fire meets ice. It's a kind of American control it. White boat drop that bumper.
Fireman's Rum Meeting also took the second position in the road match competition. Kristin John-Deane reporting for Carnival Beat.
Well, in the sister competition, that's the Power Soca competition, Fireman was out front again. He dethroned the Gamal Skinny Fabulous Doyle.
As he entered the stage at Victoria Park on Saturday night, Delroy Fireman Hooper had the crowd behaving unruly, with his supporters jumping, whining and waving with their unruly flags. while Skinny Fabulous Doyle had to settle for the second place position with Red Button.
We bought from the day we bought, bought from the day we bought from the day we bought, show them how we bought from the day we bought, we bought from the day we bought. Whoa, tell them it's not now, it's long time, it's long time, it's long time. We made for this.
Third place went to Problem Child with No Discipline. And fourth place went to Mad Skull. Fireman's Unruly also took this year's road match title. Kristin John-Deane reporting for Carnival Beat.
And SVG-TV News caught up with Fireman Hooper, who said he is humbled with his achievements this year, and that he will continue to work hard for the many persons who continue to support him.
I've been through a lot, you understand me? And I'm a very tough artist. I don't make anything get to me. I just do good music. And do music for the people service organization. That's what my talent is about. Once you're disciplined, all other things shall be added up to you. Well, one of the strong is Rudy, and the other is School, my family and my friends. So right about now, I'm so happy that I don't think of words to explain. Happy for winning because it's about time I think I take a rest from this. It's very stressful. I just want to go home and relax. But the vision is already there. If you listen to the line in the song, I have a joke.
Meanwhile, in the Dimanche competition on Sunday night, former junior Calypso monarch Zamfir Adams, the Manzangi, he beat out 9 other Calypso veterans for the title. Kristin John-Deane has more.
Act Before It's Too Late and The Victim's Cry are the 2 songs which earned Zamfir Manzangi Adams the top spot in the National Calypso Finals in the wee hours of Monday morning at Carnival City Victoria Park.
Can't let them fade away. Life to them is not a holiday. It's a fact, they need help from you and I. So let us pay attention when these victims cry. When these victims cry.
In an interview with SVG-TV News, overwhelmed Manzangi told SVG-TV that his work paid off.
This year, I went to the extreme. I spent over $4,000 getting my song from Trinidad and Tobago. I know people might have certain things to say, but it's so difficult to find a writer in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to help you to accomplish this goal. And people tell me that I have it. All I need is a good writer. And therefore, I take a trip. And taking part last year in the regional Calypso competition police, I met with other police officers throughout the Caribbean. And so they linked me, and they linked me with a good person who is Mr. Stevens, and he definitely write my both songs, and I must commend him 100%.
Second place went to Robert Patches King with his 2 songs, Build Again and Ring the Bell.
Ring the bell, come and ring the bell. Who ain't going to jail, they're going down. Ring the bell, come and ring the bell.
Third place went to last year's winner Chanel Scorpion Williams with The Blight and Rising Higher.
We will survive out of many commit one people. Oh, remember Mandela came out of prison and became the president.
Kristin John-Deane reporting for Carnival Beat.
Generally Glasgow of the SVG Players International cupped the Queen of the Band's title with the portrayal Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Second place went to Simone Richardson of Blondie Board and Friends with their portrayal Fire and Heat. Nelson Block's Petra Pompey took the 3rd spot with the portrayal Caribbean from the presentation We Drinking. And Pauline Ralph James of Owen Ralph and the Professionals took the 4th position with the Sacred and Profane. In the King of the Bands category, Gordon Tyre Boucher of Melbourne Artisans took 1st place for the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Blondie Board and the Friends, Ricardo Adams, took the 2nd position with Fireworks. Third place went to Julian Pollard of SVG Players International Mass Band with At the End of the Rainbow is a Pot of Gold, and the fourth place went to Rupert Alexander of Hyrule Tribes Mass Band with Titanic the Sinking Wreckage. Some Juve results now. Juve Fanatics took Juve King and the Queen of the Year with failed strip test and on your marks. The second position in King and Queen Juve category went to Green Hill Sports and Culture with Sexy Pastor Gone Wild and Liat Che on the Fair. In the individuals Juve category, Fitzhugh's Juve Band took first place with Chicken Gunya. Second place and third place went to Juve Fanatics with Too Much Pressure and Green Card Sale Contacts. Juve Fanatics took first, second and third place in the couples of the Juve category with their presentations Drink and Jump with Control, World Cup Blues and Phony. Juve Fanatics also took the first place in the group category. Second place went to Green Hill Sports and Cultural Club, and the third place went to Sand Hill, Las Vegas. Traditional bands of Juve saw Juve Fanatics taking first place with Laugh Out Loud. Second went to Fitzhugh's with As the World Turns, and the third place was awarded to Green Hill Sports and Cultural Club with Keeping It Real. And for yet another year, Country Meets Town took first place in the Paint Band category. Meantime, revelers took to the streets on Monday evening for the T-shirt band to jump up through the streets of Kingstown, and among the bands on parade were the Network SVG, Lime, Guinness Posse, Musty Company, CDC Lotto and White Oak. Meanwhile, for the Road March title, Fireman was voted the Road March King with his song Unruly. He also captured his second place with Rum Meeting, and third place went to Mad Skull with Family. Guinness Wadi Lima hits 103.7. Blondie Bird and the Friends dominated the Vincy Mass 2014, having secured most of the major categories in the mass component over the carnival season, including the Band of the Year title. Jamisha Wright has the details on Mardi Gras in this report.
Guinness Wadi Lima hits 103.7. Blondie Bird and Friends with its presentation Heat pushed the 2013 Band of the Year holders SVG Players International into second place with its production Beyond the Rainbow. Blondie Bird and Friends received 32 points over SVG Players International with a total of 554 points, with SVG Players 522 points. We Drinking by Digicel Juicy Nelson Block secured the third spot with 514 points. Presidente, in association with Metro Center General Insurance Company Limited High Voltage, Tech Fantasy with 490 points was adjudged the fourth. All 13 bands then took to the streets of capital city Kingstown for the street parade, providing bystanders another opportunity to view their 2014 production, which was carried live on SVG-TV. Reporting for Carnival Beat, I am Jamisha Wright.
Meanwhile, the CDC is hailing Vincy Mass 2014 a success. In a media release, the CDC says the shows that formed part of the calendar of activities were well executed, and the results for the most part were well received. The CDC used the opportunity to express thanks to the police and the security services in helping to oversee good conduct for the season, the sanitation services for keeping the city clean, and also the media for its coverage of the various events. According to the CDC, it is now back to the drawing board to review and start the process of planning for 2015.